What's up YouTube, it's PB. Thanks for tuning in to another live of a job in Plumber. Unbelievably, this is the next one in the series, 2 weeks after I've just done the last one. So you wait about a year for one to come and then two come at once. And hopefully, thanks to some of your comments and people saying that you don't mind seeing a similar job twice, so aka a toilet repair, it's kind of inspired me to do more. So I've probably got another 3 lined up, all ready to go. So I've tried to mix the jobs a bit, so you'll see some things that I've done this week, some things that I did the week before, some things from way back when, and also some recycled stuff off Instagram, because a few guys mentioned that you see my stuff on YouTube but you don't use Instagram, so you've not seen that, so to you it's new. So feeling really good about it, gonna try and keep them coming. I've noticed there's a lot more guys doing these day in the life YouTube videos now, so you'd think I'd say, oh, it's competition, don't watch them, they're crap, but it's really good if you're an apprentice to watch other people's videos, because you can learn from different engineers, because we all do things differently. So if you check out some of these new ones as well, watch mine, and then you'll get a rounded, you'll get everyone's experience and it'll make you better. So that's really good. Hopefully they've been inspired by me, hopefully they're not slagging me off. I probably won't watch them. Well, I might watch them, see if I can get some tips, but we'll see. But yeah, there's loads of new people out there, so check them out. I've had a busy week. I've been working away with a guy called Marcus. There's going to be that job in here. Did another job with him last month where we fitted a wood burning stove, because Marcus is HETAS registered, so you have to have a HETAS qualification to be able to install solid fuel appliances. So I went with him for the experience. Then he mentioned he got an install coming up that I could help him on, so went to do that. So that's good. If you're local to me, you know, East Midlands-ish, Nottingham, Derby, Northampton possibly, and you've got a big job, an interesting job, something a bit unusual, and you want me to come and help you, send me a message and let me know, because I'd love to start travelling around the country, starting local, but then going around working with other people for the experience, to make some social media content and stuff like that. So that's kind of something I'm working on at the minute. I also went to Leamington Spa last month to work with a guy, Peak Underfloor Heating, Jamie, who's all he does is underfloor heating. So I've never actually done any, never been asked to do it, never had a job where I've needed to do it. So I went to learn from him how to do it, and I made a really good video, which will probably be in next week, the next installment, probably in about 2 weeks. So if you've never done underfloor heating, you want to know how it works, and see me doing it for the first time, there's a really good video coming up for that. So there's that to look forward to. And yeah, it's just been the hottest, I think it's been the hottest month ever in the UK. Working's been really, really difficult. Again, in one of the later videos, there's an install I did. Hopefully it was for a customer that I got off YouTube, and I hoped it was going to take me 3 days. It ended up taking me 4, but I've done. It's a really nice outcome. The job looks really good, so every cloud and that. But you just chalk it down to experience. Sometimes in this trade, a job will go to shit. You'll think, yeah, that'll take me 2 days. It might take you a week, because everything might go wrong. But you just gotta get your head down, get through it, and then learn from your experiences. And that's what this trade is really. It's all about experience. So take the rough with the smooth. Some jobs will be like in and out. You'll fix a toilet in 10 minutes and you'll get 100 quid. And sometimes you'll get 250 quid, 300 quid day rate, and you'll work you know, you'll sweat your bollocks off. You'll work really hard for it. So yeah, swings and roundabouts. But hopefully there's a good variation in this video and you'll enjoy it. And I'll shut up now. Thanks for watching. So today's job, we're taking this out. It's a Worcester high flow, so it's like a storage combi. So this here is a storage vessel of hot water. So this is coming out. We've got to put in a wall hung boiler there. We're going to be fitting an ATAG. It's my first ATAG, so I'm looking forward to that. And then just tidying the pipes up. We're going to be lagged because we're in a garage. So that's that. And then we're doing, because this is the gas pipe, we're renewing all the gas. There'll be a new gas run coming from there. So I'm working with Marcus today. He's the gaffer. So that's the boiler we're fitting. That's Marcus's van, which is one of the nicest vans you'll ever see. Sometimes if you've got a good relationship with someone local, I mean, I'm in Leicestershire, Marcus is Nottingham, but if you can get a good relationship with someone, you can help each other out on jobs. So I'm helping Marcus today, and if I've ever got a job where I need another guy, I'll be able to ask him to help me on it. And obviously, when you work on your own a lot, it gets boring. So when you work with someone, you can have a bit of banter, and occasionally they'll buy you lunch for you. Isn't that right,
Definitely. Jerk chicken today.
Is it? I saw that on the way in.
Yeah, it's supposed to be good.
So boiler's gone. Applied this ready. We're going to run the new pipes along here, down this side, and then up into the boiler because we need to lag it all. We've got filters and expansion vessel to go in and stuff. So the ply will make it a lot easier to clip to and make it a nice, neat job. Marcus is cracking on with the gas, although he's on his phone again. I'm only joking.
Again.
Doing business calls. So we've got the gas.
No, looking for chicken.
Gas is coming across. We've got 28mm run coming across here, and then we're going to pick up some other bits, cooker in the kitchen and stuff. It's about, what time is it? 10 to 11. So we've got the boiler jig on the wall. The boiler's fixed through to the brick, and then the beauty of doing the ply is we've got these clips now that we're going to be putting on. These are rubber lined clips. Screw straight into the ply, so no drilling now, it's just screwing straight into the wood. So because we've got quite a lot of clips going on, it makes it a lot easier. And people always ask me what level I use. It's this one, Stabila LAX 50G. Should cost you about 150 quid. And this pole's a Stabila pole. Can't see that. That's about 50 quid, so about 200 quid's worth. But it should make a nice job, and the laser will make it all line up perfectly. We've got a thermostatic mixing valve going on, so we've got the hot going in this side, the cold here, and it'll come out mixed. We're going to set it at probably 50 degrees. So what we're going to do is that's going to go in between where the gas would normally come up, and then into the hot, into the cold, down here, and the gas we're going to bring inside the boiler and connect in there. So it should look nice when it's done. We've also got Spirotech MB3, which is the dirt separator, so magnetic dirt filter, and then an RV2, which is the air separator. So they're going in, and then we've got one of these nice IMI blue expansion vessels. So it should be a nice job when it's done. Right, so use the laser. Really quickly got these brackets on for my pipe runs. These are the rubber line clips. So you get a long length of this steel rod. Is it 10mm?
Yeah.
M10 thread.
Right.
Cut that to size, and then that's your clip, and then that will just screw. On this one. That will screw into the plate on the wall. He says. So now we can quickly get all them on, lined up, ready. These are all cut ready to go, and it will just make piping it up. Oh, a dream really, won't it? Yeah. Marcus is cracking on with the gas. Just show you the difference actually between a green laser and a red. There's the red there. So a green laser is a lot brighter, especially when it's daylight. You can see it a lot clearer than the red. Slightly more expensive, probably pay about another 30 quid, would you?
Yeah.
30, 40 quid for a green over a red. But this one's, you got yours, where'd you get yours from? Bosch?
It was actually from Wix.
From Wix. What's that, about
50 quid?
50 quid's worth?
Yeah.
But mine was, my Stabila on there was 150, I think. But you know, it still does the job for a third of the price.
Especially when you're working on stucco, aren't you?
So a couple of videos now from my Instagram that I've removed the soundtrack from because YouTube doesn't like the music. This is using a heat compound to protect the rubber and the rubber line clips. Now obviously we could take the rubber out, but I'm just demonstrating the product here. I've never used something like this before, and the idea is it's a reusable compound, so it's quite cold and wet, and you can mould it around any plastic fittings. So if you're soldering near a speed fit fitting, say, or near a clip, you can cover the fitting, the clip, with this compound, and it will absorb the heat. when you're done with it, you can pop it back in the tub, and it's reusable. And if it dries out a bit, just add a bit of water. And on this job, you can see there that it's not affected the rubber at all. So it's a pretty decent product to get you out of the shit in certain circumstances. And then this is the other video I made, just showing the skill really of being able to bend to 2 points. Well, it's 3 bends on each pipe to get them all to look the same and to go where we need them to go. Obviously, could have done it with elbows, but you get increased flow rate, less resistance when you use pull bends, sweat bends, as opposed to fittings. And it's just really to show off the skill, to inspire people to bend pipes more, because you don't really see it that much these days. And I love bending pipes. It's one of my favourite parts of the job. Not showing off, but I did do these all first time, didn't waste any copper. And I might do an instructional video to show you how to do it, because it's dead easy once you know the tricks behind it. So keep an eye out for that in the future. Right guys, as usual, got ahead of myself. So there will be the video of how I bent these, cut some drain cocks in now. So that's the cold drain cock, hot drain cock, so we can service this mixer. Cold isolation there, so we can service that. We've got a drain cock at the bottom underneath this expansion vessel, and then we've just put the boiler on. So we're going to wire that up now, do the flue, and then we're going to lag it. What time are we on now?
10.
It is 20 past 10 on day 2. We're not doing too bad. So we've got the cold water back on, gas is done, all the pipes are connected through, so we're just going to wire it up and then we'll commission it and then we'll lag it. It's not looking too bad. Right, so pretty much done now. Power's on. Just got, it's all full, just got this sort of lag now. Got the pipe work, lagging's done across to there. We've still got to brick the flue up, so that's still to do. And then, yeah, lag the rest of the pipes. Going to be using this, there'll be a little video coming using the Pipe Lagger Pro. So yeah, got the rest of the lagging to go around all this.
Is that mine or yours?
That's yours, mine. So that's the pipes lagged. It's not looking too bad. What are you looking down there for? This is for YouTube, this one. Right, finished now, wrapping up. So we've got the condense and the PRV are combined on this, so they go out the same pipe. Obviously it's all lagged. This sticker goes on the flue, so you can tell if anyone's interfered with the flue, because if the sticker's broken. It's got a nice LCD display. Is that on all the time, the display?
No, it goes dead after a while, don't
Goes
it?
dead.
Rick?
What's that, mate?
Display goes dead after a while, don't it?
It doesn't go completely dead, it does fade.
Goes
So
fade,
you get,
okay.
like, the backlit drops off.
Yeah. And you can change the timing if you want.
Expansion vessel is there in the back, the Schrader valve's at the top, but we've also put an extra one on because we've got 18 radiators on this system, so it's a big system, so we need more expansion capabilities. So just to run through, we've got Spirotech magnetic dirt separator, so magnetic filter. temperature mixer valve, thermostatic mixing valve. So hot comes in this side, cold comes in this side to blend to a set temperature. The idea behind this is we got constant continuous temperature coming out of it, but also we're going to maximise the flow rate because we've got water coming in from both sides. That's the idea anyway. You don't have to do that with an ATAG, that's not ATAG related, that's just one of Marcus's ideas. And then air separator, RV2 from Spirotech, so that strips out micro air bubbles, so no air in the system, no corrosion. That's about it really. Nice looking job. What's up guys, been called out to this Wiesmann 100 with the 0B fault. Now that's linked to this flow switch, so we've either got a blockage in the system or poor flow, and we can confirm that by linking out the flow switch, and we can see there it's cleared the error code. Now the boiler's fired up, but if you listen carefully you can hear that the boiler's kettling, which means we've definitely got a blockage somewhere. So I've drained the boiler down now and removed the flow pipe. Give the rubber hose a bit of a twist and we can see there it's completely blocked where that flow switch is. The best way to clean the rubber hoses out is to squeeze them together, give them a good crunch and get all that black out. Now if that's what we've got in the flow pipe, you can imagine what's in the return is going to be a lot worse. This one's a little bit more difficult to access, but once you've removed the clip you just give the hose a twist and you should get it out. Again, you're going to want to squeeze the hose and crunch all that black out. You can actually tell while this is still in the boiler before you drain down by squeezing the hose. If it doesn't squeeze easily between your fingers, you know it's going to be blocked. After a good flush out, we can see there we've got a nice gradual temperature increase and the boiler's back working. What's up guys, just a quick video, just a little more insight into the fault finding on this Wiesmann boiler on the flow switch. So you can see here it's like a paddle and it's basically an open closed circuit. So in its default position it's an open circuit, and what should happen is when you put a demand on, the pump starts spinning, it moves the paddle and closes the circuit. You can see there we're checking with resistance. So with an open circuit there's no resistance, and as soon as the circuit closes you can see some resistance as it passes through that flow switch. You can also do this test with the continuity buzzer so you get an audible indication that your flow switch is made. Now the simplest way I can break this down for you is the circuit board sends voltage down one of those wires. When the flow switch makes and closes the circuit, it allows the voltage to pass through it down the other wire back down to the circuit board to let it know that the pump's spinning, everything's okay and the boiler can fire up. Right, this is a leaking toilet and you can tell there by the mould on the wall that it's been leaking for a while. It's actually the second toilet in this house. They don't really use it and they hadn't noticed that it had been leaking so long. I mean, it's absolutely saturated the floor. I turned this off on Saturday morning I came here, isolated the water, and I'm going to take the toilet out now to repair it, and I'll show you why in a second. But yeah, it's pretty bad. You can see it's that's where I wiped my finger down it. So have a look underneath. This is the reason why I couldn't fix it on Saturday. I did a try. So that one's not too bad. You can see it's still dripping even though I drained it on Saturday. But the one on the other side is really rusted and I just couldn't undo it, and it was Saturday so I thought fuck it, I'll just leave it off, come back today. So rather than struggle with the toilet in place there, I've already took the screws out from the cistern to the wall. So all I've got to do now is undo these two screws here, 1, 2, and then just literally pull the toilet out, and then I'll spin it around, then I can work on these a lot easier. Obviously I'll have to remove the cold feed. Yeah, pretty glamorous, the life of a plumber. Right, so this is to give you a better view of what's going on. So that's the one that's really badly rusted, got no chance of getting it out. So my thinking is, if you don't know how a toilet attaches to the floor, older pans we used to sand and cement them or screw straight down into the floor, but these brackets screw into your floor, and then you can line any one of those holes up with the hole on the side of the toilet, just in case you didn't know. So doing this, 2 screws there, disconnected the water, 2 screws there, and the toilet comes out. Obviously the pan connector I've took out, but normally it would just come out of there. So this will give me the chance now to either try and turn these off easier, I say easier, than when it was in situ, or if I can't get them off, I'll just cut through them with my multi-tool. So I'll whip this off now and then I'll show you what the problem was, but you can see it's been leaking here for a long time. Probably the donut washer between there and there, but we'll see. So I managed to get that side off, but this one's not having it. I don't know if the whole thing's spinning when I try and... It might be going. It's fucking soaked though. Oh, I might have got it. Yeah, I think we got it. Probably get about 4 or 5 turns and it'll stop anyway. I've got a little tip for you if you ever doing something like this and it starts off easy and then it gets really, really hard, it's because you blocked the thread. So just stop, do it back up, which seems a bit against what you do, but that will clear the thread and then you can go again. In theory, my dad showed me that one. It'd be nice if I could get this off. I'll keep going then I'll come back. So, amazingly, I got both ring nuts off. So I'm going to try and lift this off with one hand so I can show you. Slide it back. I don't know, looking at that, washer looks good. It's not loose, so whether it was actually that was leaking and then running around here, I'll start sliding off. So what I'll probably do is I'll go and get my toilet repair kit out of the van and we'll swap these, check that's tight as well, and put it back together. So what I've done is took these bolts out. Now you would have had to screw that all the way down, which couldn't be arsed with, so I've just cut it there and snapped it off, and then that will come out from inside the loo. And there's the other one I did. Just use the multi-tool. So replace them. Now I've probably shown you this before, but I've got a box full of spares for bits like this. So I just keep them when I get them off other jobs I do. So I've got spares there, spare nuts, spare washers, everything I need to fix the toilet really. So I'll put new ones in there, clean all this up. Might whip that out, like I said. That seems tight, but I'll just check it. I'm pretty sure it was leaking from that and then just pulling around here. So that's the one that came out. It wasn't that tight actually, but it's fucked anyway. So what we're going to do is new, then we start with a metal. This is going to be difficult, but anyone can do it with one hand, it's me. Then we go domed. God, these are difficult to go with 2 hands. Okay, so dome's next. So that pulls down, that goes in the cistern and pulls down, we'll squeeze. Then once it's through the cistern, we'll go metal, rubber, then metal, and then that will squeeze that down. So put that in first. Okay, so I've got that in, then it's rubber, metal. Okay, go up to there, and then if we can, Okay, and then as we tighten that, that will squeeze that domed rubber on the inside, and that will be fixed. And then once that's through, we go rubber again, metal, and then our wing nut, and then so that way. And then, sorry, I can't pick this up. When we do that up, it will pull the system down onto that, squeezing that in between there and there to make our watertight seal. Okay, so got them in there fixed, remade that in, tightened that up, gave this a clean, and then going to put a new, replace this one because it has got grooves in, so it needs to sit perfectly. So new one of them that goes on there, and then we'll tighten that back on. One thing I will say is you see a lot of toilets that will have silicone on them when you go to work on them. I would never put silicone on a toilet unless, if you look at this here, that's perfectly flat, that bit. Sometimes they can be a little bit of a bump or a dip where they've been cast or made wrong. Or, and I'm only human, if this was like Friday night and I was late to get home and I didn't want to put it on and it leak and take it back off, then I might put a little bit of silicone in there, stick that on there or on there, and then a little bit on there. Very rarely though, and if it's been an absolute bastard of a job. So that should do what it's designed to do now. Squeeze down onto there when I pull these through, and we should be good, and we'll put it back in. Okay, so the toilet's back in. Dried it all off, so I'm going to know if anything's leaking, dripping. Not screwed it to the floor, not screwed it to the wall, because if we have any trouble, we don't want to have to, you know, unscrew it again. So we'll turn the water on with it at it fully screwed in. So water's on, wait for it to fill up. You can see the new metal fixings there. And then what I'll do is, I'll let this fill up and I'll check underneath. And what I'll do is I'll leave that, when it's full, I'll leave it for 5-10 minutes while I have a cup of tea, to make sure nothing's dripping. Then I'll flush it and check it again to see if it drips or leaks. When it's flushed, then we can work out if we've still got an issue, and if that's all good, then we'll screw it back to the wall. Right, so sat a cup of tea, flush this 2 or 3 times. What you want to look for is any kind of sign of water coming between there, then you'll notice the donut washer when you flush it. And obviously water falls downwards because of gravity, so check everything underneath. No signs of leaks, but I'm happy with that, that's all good. So nice job done. Don't know who's going to clean the Underfloor though. So this is a new product. I might have told you about this before because I saw this a long time ago at Installer Show in Scotland. It's called a next gen drain valve, and it's got a hose lock adapter built into it, so you can put a hose lock fitting straight on, but you can also push your hose on. The really clever thing about it is the insert. It's a 6mm hex key to take it out, and it's like some kind of plastic, I don't know what they call it, polycarbonate, Teflon coated thing that replaces the standard washer that we all know gets stuck and never opens. You can do it with a screwdriver or 6mm hex key, and that is the tail's long enough to go in a push fit in, a press fit fit in, a speed fit fit in, and you can also buy just the inserts and they will retrofit any of these type 2 drain cocks, take the washer out and it will replace, and apparently they won't stick. So I thought it was a really good invention. Right, this is a job I've been called out to because the underfloor heating in some of the rooms, mainly the kitchen and the hallway, is constantly on. And this is what I was greeted with. Now, I'm not an expert on underfloor heating, never fitted it, never been asked to fit it. But recently I did some training on it and I was expecting to see actuator valves. So normally each of these loops will be a room, so kitchen, entrance hall, downstairs toilet maybe, utility room, lounge, study, whatever, and each of these would have an actuator on, like a thermostat kind of thing that opens and closes according to the thermostat in each room. But there's not, these are just wheel head valves, so I guess for balancing the system. And then there is one thermostat which is linked to this 2-port, so when that thermostat calls for heat, this 2-port opens to let it go through to, I guess, originally one loop, but then they've added this little mess here. So it's not a great system. Some of you guys will be experts excuse me, on underfloor, and you'll know. Maybe this is like the very first underfloor, I don't know. And then I also couldn't work out why there's a pump on the flow and the return, whether the original pump was on the flow here and then they added this on the return because it wasn't working properly. I don't know, because I didn't fit it. But the issue I worked out was, so this is a blending valve, by the way, so you've got the heat here from the flow will mix in with some of the cooler heat from the return to keep this temperature lower, but I don't even know if that's set up right, because it's going to return up here pumped. Why would it come this way? Unless that's why they've put that gate valve in, I don't know. And then there's a bypass there. It just seems really strange to me. But I worked out the issue, and that is that this 2-port valve, you can see there, is open. So without the demand, so on the programmer here, I didn't put any demand on for the heating, for the underfloor heating. I just put the hot water on. And because this is stuck open, when the boiler fired for hot water, the heat came straight through here, and then it was just these pumps weren't coming on, but it was just circulating around the quickest loop, which is where I'm standing now, into the kitchen. So what I'm going to do is, hopefully this head will come off, and we'll see if it's just a case of this motor. I'll test that, and if it is, then we'll just swap the motor, and then at least that will cure the issue they've got where it's coming on when it's not wanted. And then as far as the rest of it goes, I don't know, just I want to run away really. So as soon as I took this valve off, even though it looks rusty as fuck, it sprung shut, which tells me that this is seized here, stuck in the open position. Now on this system I don't want to drain it down because it's just going to give me loads and loads of problems. So this is the kind of thing where, I mean, what I'll do today is I'll lubricate this, try and free it up, see if that helps. If not, we're going to have to take this out. Now we've got a valve there that probably don't work, and a valve there that probably don't work. So, well, the other option is probably to freeze it, but there's not really that much space to freeze it. So it's one of those jobs where you don't really want it, but I'll just say to the customer, look, this is the problem. Going to need to drain it down. It's probably going to give me loads of issues, so just warn you that although that's the job that needs doing, when we've done that and filled it back up, if you have other problems, then you know we're going to have to talk about price for fixing that as well, because I really don't want this job, but we'll see. I'll let you know. I'll just lube this up now and we'll see what happens. Alright, so I've lubed it. Can't turn it with my fingers, but you can see I can easily turn that now. So hopefully that is doing what it should do. So I'm just going to, before I swap that, I'm going to refit that, turn the hot water on and see if the heat comes through this. If it doesn't, then I might just leave it like that and say to them, see how you get on. Because yeah, like I said, I don't really want to be messing around with this much more than that. So that's back on now, and just to show you, so if we open it up, so that's what it was before, it's now actually springing back, so we might be good. What I'm going to do now is fire it up on hot water only and see if this pipe gets any heat, because that's what it was doing before. unfortunately that's not worked. Although the valve's shut, that's getting hot and the pumps aren't on. So it's just it's just making its way through there. So yeah, I'm gonna have to think about this. It's getting really hot now. Quote to remove this valve. Same job. This is the upstairs underfloor heating circuit. So exactly the same thing. This one's got 3 thermostats, so 2 on those 2 ports and then 1 for the main underfloor heating. And the same with this, has got a flow and return pump, so whether that is legit how this is supposed to be or what, I don't know. But I don't know, it just don't look too clever and it don't work too clever either. What's up guys, it's PB. Just a really quick video showing you the benefits of being able to use a multimeter when you're fault finding to confirm and prove a system component is doing what it should do. In this instance, I'm looking at a water pressure sensor on a Valent boiler. What the board is looking for from that pressure sensor is a voltage current. The higher the pressure in the system, the higher the voltage, vice versa, the lower the pressure. All I'm doing here is draining the system pressure, then topping it back up, and checking the voltage coming back from that water pressure sensor is what I would expect it to be. Unfortunately, 1.18 volts doesn't equate to 1.18 bars. It's not that simple, but it does give you an understanding of how component parts work. And this is the kind of thing you'll learn when you go on the manufacturer's training courses. It's really useful for fault finding and it's really interesting. Other cool things you can do is when your boiler first comes on and the pump starts, you can look for a spike in voltage. That's proving that the pump started spinning. This is a job that you'll come to quite a lot, especially on old systems. So this is what we call pinholing, so the radiator pinhole. Basically, it's where the water's attacked the metal in the radiator, it's rusted through, and then the water's made a pinhole. A lot of the time it will happen at the back, and you'll just see it dripping, but on further inspection, you'll just find a hole somewhere, and it's game over for this radiator. All you can do is isolate the valves, and then drain it out, measure up for a new one, and quote for a new one. Obviously, you're not going to have a radiator on your van, so just make it safe by isolating the valves and just making sure you get all the water out. Another toilet job. This one I was called out to because the toilet started leaking in the middle of the night, and you can see there that the plastic thread from the float valve has snapped off inside the tap adapter. Now this snapped off when I removed the system, but it was leaking quite badly. The floor flooded, so there must have been a hairline crack in that plastic, and that's the reason why I like to use a black brass shank. Now I know I've shown you these a couple of times before, but this is my inlet valve, float valve of choice. It's I think it's called Skylo. I know it's the 4-in-1 from Viva Sanitary. You can get these from Toolstation, I believe. They used to sell them in Screwfix. I don't think they do them in Screwfix anymore. But you can get them into your, well, my local City Plumbing got them in for me, and also got them into my local independents. So yeah, if you've not seen them before, have a word at your merchants. But you basically get the shanks, brass shank comes removable, and you can put it in yourself. And you can see there, you can put it in from the bottom to make it a bottom inlet, and you can put it in the side to make it a side inlet on the same fitting. You don't have to change anything other than move where you put your shank in. You can twist it, so depending on what's in your way, flush handle, siphon, whatever. And you can also extend, it's telescopic, so you can make it shorter or longer. It's bottom fed, so the longer you have it lower near to the bottom of the cistern, obviously the quieter it'll be. So I just need to get a washer from the van. I don't think I've shown you this on YouTube before, but this is my Bot Smart van. It's just a tilt box, but the things, the little drill boxes I keep my bits in, fit perfectly in. When I showed this on Instagram, everyone wanted to know what I kept in the stuff box, and it's just bits, you know, random bits, air pipes from old radiators, pins, just things that you wouldn't normally find a place for. And then obviously I've got one for washers, 3/4 22mm Jubilee clips, I think, for keeping one screws, things like that. But yeah, really decent racking system. So yeah, you can see you can twist it whichever way you want to, if there's anything in your way. It's telescopic. If you want to adjust the level, just turn the screw Obviously that's for fine adjustment. If you've you can set the level using the telescopic feature, and then just to show you, see there's a delay when it empties and then it starts filling from the bottom there. If you didn't know what that was for, the delayed fill is like a water saving feature, because if you think about it, while your toilet's still flushing through the siphon, if you're straight away putting fresh water in, some of that is going to go out with your flush. So by delaying it, it's waiting for the siphon to seal and then filling back up. Pretty clever. So you might be wondering why I've got a 15mm and a 22mm pipe in my bender at the same time. The reason I did this was because I did an install on Instagram and a guy commented and said that I bent them wrong. Basically the radiuses were wrong, I should have done them the same. But you can't pull a 22mm bend the same radius as a 15 bend because the pipe's thicker. So it's always going to be a larger radius. You can see there by the guides the 15mm guide is almost half the size of the 22. So I just did this, bent the 22 first, then I bent the 15 with the 22 still in to show you, or to show this guy, that it can't be done. If you have the 15mm pipe on the inside of a 22, it doesn't look too bad, but as soon as you put them the other way around, so the 15mm on the outside of the 22, you can really tell that it's a totally different radius bend, and that was just to prove this guy wrong. Right, called out to a leaking boiler. You can see there it's got a tray under it, it's dripping. Now this is a common fault on this type of boiler, Worcester Green Star, and we can see there, this part here is what I would call the flow manifold. So it's the flow to the central heating and the flow to the tap, hot tap, and it also connects onto that plate heat exchanger at the back there. And the flow pipe coming out the top there is the flow through the main heat exchanger. So because this is made of plastic, what happens is they get a little pinhole in, and you can just see there it's spraying out. If I put my screwdriver in the way, I can just stop it. So we've got a little pinhole there, it's just spraying water out. So that's going to need replacing. So to replace this, we're going to need to isolate the cold and the central heating circuit. Now the boiler is the highest point in the system, so I'm not going to bother isolating the valves, I'm just going to drain it down because there's nothing above it. But yeah, we need to drain this completely to remove this. And a job like this, you might think, bloody hell, this is going to be hard. It's not that difficult. You can do it in about 10 minutes. Well, say 20 minutes with draining it down and filling it up. Always better once you've done your first one though. It's easy me saying to you it's only going to take you 20 minutes, don't worry. But yeah, if it's the first time you're doing one, you might think, fucking hell. But it's not too bad. In fact, you can take the whole hydraulics out in about half an hour if you know what you're doing. Quite easy to work on, even though they look a bit of a dog's dinner. Worst thing about these is servicing, because you have to go in from the top. But we'll drain this down and whip this out. So that's the old flow manifold out. They always seem to go at the same spot. It's just there where that moulding is, and they've not changed the design. But the good thing about Worcester parts is you get a pack of washers, seals, O-rings, clips, screws for everything you need to do with that job, which is good. And then, as always, if I've drained the boiler down and swapped a part on it, I'll dry it out with a hairdryer. Always best to have a bone dry boiler when you fill it back up, because you can spot straight away if anything you've done is leaking. If you've ever seen one of these installed on a combi boiler and wondered what it was or what it does, it's a mini shock arrestor or mini expansion vessel, and it's designed to absorb the shock caused by things like water hammer and also take up the expansion in the pipes. Now, I've been called out to this Worcester boiler with a typical fault for a boiler not fitted with a shock arrestor. The plastic flow manifold on this boiler has split and got a pinhole in it. The reason this happens is either water hammer damaging the plastic components, or after you finish using the hot water and you shut the tap, the heat in the water causes it to expand, and the expansion takes place naturally in the pipework and down the cold main. If you've got a water meter fitted or any kind of non-return valve, that stops the natural expansion taking place. This can put plastic components such as this flow manifold under increased pressure, and they can become damaged and split. Installing a shock arrestor can take up this expansion and protect the plastic components inside the boiler.
So we have our Cobra standard water pump pliers, work on a push button feature. We have the slim Cobras, which has an elongated head, particularly good for grabbing flat surfaces. We've got the smart grips, which don't have a push button, they work on a spring mechanism, really good for working in tricky areas. If you're dipping out at different sizes or awkward positions, say one-handed, you could use these. The siphon and connectors, as the name suggests, for siphon and connectors, max capacity 75mm with the plastic inserts in, which are also interchangeable. Then we've got the multiple slip joint, the Raptor, which also has 3 points of contact, no teeth, so really good for rounding off misshapen nuts. So if you do general maintenance, these are a great bit of kit. Then we have the pliers wrench, which is our version of an adjustable spanner. It's got parallel jaws and no teeth.